I'm Michelle with two L's, and I am one half of Forcify Entertainment. I am back to close out my final review. The journey has come to an end with The Mandalorian Season 3. I'm here to give you my immediate reaction, my review of this particular season, and of course, the finale, Chapter 24, The Return. I was busy last week, so I didn't get to record. I didn't get to watch and record my reaction or review last week. But overall, I would say that I enjoyed the last two episodes a lot more than I have most of the episodes in this season. And as we get into this, I will say I have positives about this finale, and I also have some negatives and some gripes about the finale. And as a season as a whole, as you guys have kind of picked up with me as we've gone on this journey together, I would say that this season is the weakest of the three. I don't even think there's a question in my mind. This one is definitely the weakest season. Uh, really, when I begin to think about it, there's only three episodes that stood out in my mind as being truly good. Then there was like one or two that was okay, and then a few, like two or three that, or like two that I thought were kind of bad. So this season has been a mix, to say the least. But I do think, although it doesn't end near as on a high note as season two did, and that would have been hard to top and beat. This season, I do think, and maybe it's in comparison to the other episodes we got, but I do think the last two episodes were much stronger than what I had seen. But even at that, I will say this. We often talk about, people say it's not the destination, it's the journey. I enjoyed, for the most part, the destination where we got, but we need to enjoy the journey. We need to enjoy getting to the destination. But let's get into my thoughts. Again, I have both positive and negative on Chapter 24, The Return. Overall, though, I enjoyed this episode a decent amount. But yes, so we finally, because one of my gripes in this season has been Din, and I have enjoyed Bo-Katan's story, but I feel at times it has overtaken Din's, and to me, this is Din and Grogu's story. Yes, it is the Mandalorian. You can have other Mandalorians like Bo-Katan, but at times the focus was a little too heavy, in my opinion, on Bo-Katan. But this, and at times, as I've said throughout this, it's like Din doesn't even get chances to shine. It's felt like in this season. But finally, this is definitely in the positives for me. Finally, Din and Grogu. That's been another gripe of mine. Why is he not getting to do anything? He did spend that time with Luke. Both get to shine in this finale episode. They both get action. I will say, because I didn't get to do the review last week. I didn't know where they were going in episode 1 with the IG-11 droid getting rebuilt. But I will say, I think it was a lot of fun what they did with it, as Grogu can use. Basically, it's like almost a remote control vehicle for Grogu now, the IG-11 droid. And the yes and no, they did a lot of humor that really worked for me with that. That was really cute. And even in the finale, touching, like when they're messing with Din and he said, no, and stops it. I enjoyed all they did with that. So the setup for that in my opinion, paid off with what they did with that in these final two episodes. But yeah, great sequence. I personally enjoyed some of the action sequences, and Rick, the guy who directed it, Rick, his last name starts with an F. I always botch his last name. He has, in my opinion, proven to be a pretty good director, and to the way he, his direction is usually good. I thought it was good in this episode as well. I personally, because this really is kind of just a lot of action, this episode, because we'd left off in the last one where Mando has been captured by Moff Gideon. And I did appreciate the sequence, the action sequence, as Mando uses, what is it, R5, the droid, to open up one by one. And the action sequence as Din takes on those guards, which were definitely a challenge. And it shows, really how awesome Din is as a warrior, as he takes those on two by two, each thing he goes through. I thought that whole sequence was really good, actually. And we also finally we get in this one Moff Gideon is no more. It was kind of time. Juan Carlos Esposito is a fantastic villain, going back to his time at Breaking Bad. But I feel it was time for that to kind of end and for some new big bad to begin. So I was fine with him dying in this episode. I thought it was kind of time, actually. But so we got two things again that have been a gripe. We got Mando, some great action sequences with Mando, which I really appreciate and I thought were well done. And you finally got Grogu using the Force for he's used in the season, but not for any real meaningful way. So you finally get Grogu using the Force in a meaningful way. And of course, he uses the Force to shield them as the fire is coming. And I can imagine some people may have a problem with that. I really don't, because they established that on a smaller scale before he had spent time with Luke in season 1. It was really a callback to that scene as Grogu steps up and protects all of them. And he does that again in the situation, just to a bigger degree. But I think that's a progression. I'm fine with that. And not to mention, we also saw what was his name? Why did I just go blank? Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character that he voiced for. I will think of it the second I turn this camera off. But in Rebels, his character did that and saved them. So I didn't have a problem with that. I liked it. I love when the Force and stuff is involved. And again, I believe they had established the progression of his Force powers, that it makes sense that he was able to do that, in my personal opinion. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Grogu. It was really a team effort, and it was cool getting to see all the Mandalorians with their jetpacks. I mean, it was very Clone Wars-esque to see them all in battle, all in combat and action. I really, again, I overall enjoyed this finale episode quite a bit. And you get Grogu, Bo-Katan, and Mando all get their moments in this episode. And where I was almost like, man, are they going to fully let Bo-Katan save the day? No, they don't. And Mando steps up again. And then also Grogu steps up again. So it was really a team effort. As Bo-Katan says, Mandalorians are stronger together. So I enjoyed all that. Then you do get, and it was touching. I know some of you guys are probably don't enjoy it quite as much as me. I have said from the beginning, the heartbeat of this show is the relationship between Din Djarin and Grogu. That is the heartbeat, and that's why I knew even at the end of last season they were never going to let Grogu go too long not being in the season. It's just that is what the show is. It's Din Djarin and Grogu's show. So for Din Djarin to officially adopt Grogu, to me was very touching and sweet. And you do have that kind of theme in Star Wars in general due to war. Kids do lose their parents, but I thought that was very sweet. And he's now Din Grogu. So I enjoyed that. And he became his apprentice. Again, he is on the step to being a Mandalorian. But so I enjoyed that. The only things, let's see, I did not enjoy, again, as they go back to Navarro, and you've got Carl Weathers' character there. It just you really miss Gina Carano. You really miss Cara Dune, and that's just kind of hovered over the whole season. I think for me and for so many fans, there was no reason for Gina not to be there at the end of the day. And if they continue on with the season 4, I'm going to say that again. There's no reason for Gina not to be involved. Because that definitely is a subtraction for me personally, that Cara Dune's character had nothing to do with the end. It was a great place she could have been used. But then also, I don't really love the fact that they destroyed the Darksaber. It's been kind of a thing ever since Clone Wars, this thing that we fans like. And I mean, maybe they can fix it, but yeah, they definitely destroyed the Darksaber. And that probably wasn't a decision I would have personally made, even just for toy purposes and stuff. I don't know that was the wisest. And yeah, so that's kind of my thought. Those are kind of my two negatives: missing Cara, and then also destroying the Darksaber. And I thought these last 2 episodes were very strong. They were a strong finish compared to the rest of the season. But again, I do believe that season 3 is by far the weakest season. But at least and they went out on a higher note in my opinion. I know some people probably aren't thrilled with it, but I thought the last 2 episodes were pretty strong personally. I would expect and overall with them establishing Mandalore, we see that again. I feel like they did tie up this particular story, and then we've got Grogu and Din set up for next season to go back on Bounty Hunter and pretty much to have like fun exploration type of show, kind of more like season one-ish to a degree. So I think, but yet different because now Grogu is also a bounty hunter and not the one being hunted necessarily. So I'm looking forward to that. I think with just a little more time and devotion, they can write a much stronger fourth. And I don't know if the fourth will be the final season of The Mandalorian, lean into that movie that they have discussed possibly, or if they have any other plans. But I hope next season is stronger than the third season. This season again was very rocky at best, is the way I would word that. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the Mandalorian. Well, as the season 3 as a whole, but also chapter 24, The Return. So what would I give this in my rating? 5 being the maximum level of hoots, and let's just say 5 is what I gave last season 2 finale when Luke showed up to save the day. That got a 5. So I'm going to have to give this season finale a solid 4 hoots. Again, these last 2 episodes were 2 of my favorites of the season, but this season overall has not been quite to par with the other 2 seasons. And hopefully season 4 is a return to form. And that happens in shows. You guys know I'm a huge Stranger Things fans. Most people don't. I enjoy season 3, but a lot of people don't near as much. And everyone thought season 4 was a return to form to season 1. So that they can definitely do it. It just requires some good writing and going back to just kind of the basics and some things, I guess. I don't know. But I'm hopeful that next season will be overall stronger than this season. But at least again, they ended better off. But that's my thoughts. What are you guys' thoughts? What have you been your thoughts overall as those of you who have taken this journey with me of The Mandalorian? What were your thoughts overall of season 3 as a whole? What were your thoughts on the last 2 episodes? What was your ranking on those? What did you think about them destroying the lightsaber? Were you okay with did you like Grogu saving the day or not? Share your thoughts below. And if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also give the video a thumbs up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right. Bye, guys.